All right, guys, what is going on in the market? We've had a bit of an interesting move down. That squeeze was pointing towards something happening, but I will be talking about some really, really interesting situations. Is this a squeeze and then pump into the next high? Are we going sideways? Are we going down? There are some indicators that are showing that Ethereum is going to be doing some crazy numbers. There's going to be a video we're going to be watching that points towards a 15,000 ETH potentially by the end of the year. And if ETH is doing that, alt could be doing some spectacular things alongside that. Now, we'll have a look through the full broad spectrum of what's happening in the markets. We're going to look at some key indicators, some interesting information, and we will see where we will go from there. All right. If you guys want to see what's going on, make sure you check out in any of these two, and we can see what my screen is up to. All right. Okay, cool. Now, let me just get rid of that. Put this over here. 15K low. Yeah. You'll see. You'll see what I've been talking about. And we can move from there. Right. Okay. Let's get this here. Let's get that there. All right. Now, if we look at Bitcoin at this present moment, it's had a beautiful bounce. It's very weird, right? And I just want to say this, but I put that line there, and I feel like I was strangely correct at that. I don't know why that was the case, but that's wild. It's wild that it's bounced off that exact line that I drew. And you can go back on my videos; they're all recorded. Yeah, that was wild that it was there. But anyway, whatever. It's all good. Now, this bounce doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be going up today, right? Or this week. And I'll say it this way, and I want everyone to really, really absorb what I'm saying, so well, people who don't have too much time can really understand what's happening. We have just come off a exceptionally news-ridden, crazy, volatile week. Things went a bit crazy last week. Now we're getting into a week where there is no news of one of the most volatile moves in most assets, and at the same time a pump on the weekend moving into the Monday range. All of that is possibly the worst scenario to trade in, right? that is like yeah, everything has to be perfect understanding to know what's going on, right? Now, to me, what happened over the weekend and what happened last week and everything else was a perfect news for market makers to grab as much liquidity as possible, right? And to find where the next steps are. Now, if we look at what's happening and where certain deltas are sitting at this present moment, come on, we see that the downside liquidity is pretty much being taken. Those are all buy orders, right? The upside liquidity is what's left right now. Between the 16 and all the way up to the 117, 118 level, there's still liquidity that is there. What this should point to is a further expansion up to take out those levels, and then we will see where the market will settle and understand what's going on. We need the market to absorb what happened last week, because fears of war and fears of this and people getting fired and all that kind of stuff is takes time for the market to absorb. But I will say one thing and one thing only: if you believe that this pullback and what happened in the market was wholeheartedly related to the Fed's decision, you are sorely mistaken, right? You are extremely mistaken in what's going on and what your understanding is. Because if you had watched the video that I did on my channel, you guys should really watch those videos. You can see that the Bank of America actually likes that the Fed is holding rates. They're good with that, because what that means is that they're doing their job. We want the Fed to do their job. That's a good thing. And you know what moves markets? You know what is a good thing? Someone doing their job in certainty. Powell saying, if inflation is high, I am going to stick to my job and keep interest rates high until this thing goes down, and only then will I stimulate the market, so it will be a continuous stimulation, is what we all want. I want everyone to move away from what this press bullcrap is saying, right? Trying to move the blame from what is the real problem to something that shouldn't be the real problem. This is the thing that people really I need to understand. And what is building up and what's happening, right? That everyone needs to I do look tired because I've been doing a whole bunch of stuff. I apologize. It's been a interesting weekend, right? What we need is that stability, because when we cut, we want it to be a continuous rolling cut that keeps going and moving and rolling, and everything happens, so it builds on liquidity on top of that, on top of that, on top of that, on top of that, right? That thing, that alone, that all that stuff that's happening is what we want to do. We don't need a short, sharp cut and then a raise afterwards, because inflation is going out of hand. So now that we have an understanding of a certainty on that side, now that we understand that banks and institutions like certainty, we can expect that there could be some further growth in the market, which is great, which is a great thing. That is what we want. We want that. You understand? Cutting when the market doesn't want it to cut, or not want, when the market is not conducive for cutting, is the worst thing you can do. Remember December. People need to understand what happened in December. The Fed cut when the market was not conducive for a cut. What happened? A massive pullback. Right? This is the situation we are. Now, looking at this, it looks like there should be some further movement up, but we have some small levels of worries here, right? Let's look at some worries that we should understand and really get. We need to understand that Bitcoin is settling underneath some key levels of resistance. We've had a nice little recovery, but is this the start of a lower high, right? And then we will get some form of lower low, and then now we're going to be building some sort of lower high, because that could. You'll never get me, ever. The Pope will never get me. I'm hidden too well. Is this going to be further continuation down and possible test the master mode, possible test of these 110,000 levels, right? This is the conversation we have, and right now we are at a very strong resistance area. Not only is the 21-day EMA there, but also the channel that we've been looking at, the key level of resistance, is also settling at that right point. So this could mean some further movement down, or what I believe is a more possible aspect to happen is this chop to move left, right, and center, up and down. Because if we look carefully, we have seen what could only be described as one of the most insane liquidity events, right? Wiping out of liquidity that we see almost in history of cryptocurrency. This past 3 years, no, past year, the biggest. It's only in February did we see a larger liquidation event, and it's almost broke all time highs of liquidations of late longs. Now, when something on that level happens, these liquidations happens, it usually points towards a further growth up, right? Some further a movement going up in that level. So we'll see what happens with the markets. Again, it's very, very dangerous trading at this present moment. First day of the Monday range being set, coming off manipulation, coming off crazy news. All this stuff is, look, sometimes not trading is the best type of trading. I want everyone to really understand that. This is the really, really important thing to understand what's going on, right? And this is what everyone should understand. Everyone needs to get to this point where your emotions have to move away from what's going on. I mean, so you guys can understand that I'm not messing around, right? And this is the free side of it as well. It's crazy, right? But the Learn by Alvarez. If you go into the link below, I literally said expecting Sunday. We should bounce soon. Expecting Sunday. I said it. I said it to everyone. Whoever was there listening and understand is the one who understood what I was talking about, and this is what we got, and things moving in the right direction. Now, We have to be careful. This could, as I said, range, move left, right, and center. We could see one more leg down, testing this 110. It's a very, very real possibility. But I think some sort of ranging up and down is something we're going to be seeing in this present moment. Now, if we look at the liquidation, I mean, not liquidation, the gap that presented, it's taken it out absolutely. I mean, like, it took out all of it. Like, the CME gap had been eaten out absolutely perfectly, and now it's within the golden pocket. Now, a rejection of the top is not a good sign. This could be poised to some further downward pressure in the markets. Now, if we look at some other further aspects that we see here, like if we look at the daily of volume that we're seeing, exchange volume, we've had a pullback, especially after that squeeze that we saw the other day. I said that something was going to happen. It was. Anyway, that type of trading range is a bit of a iffy thing. Alvarez, I was so dumb for not selling last week. I mean, I was pointing towards it. I wanted everyone to understand. I can't tell you guys what to do, right? I was pointing towards it, and I did say that thing, but don't necessarily think it that way. Pikachu, understand your time perspective. What is time? Hindsight is always easy to get annoyed about, right? Because you could have sold and then everything could have gone crazy. Don't think of it that way. Just think of your time horizon. Are you thinking I'm gonna be still doing this next year? Then if you're the case, then what's your problem? Are you be thinking I'm gonna do it in 5 years, 10 years? What are you trying to achieve in the short amount of time? Because you need to add levels of realism and being realistic in what's going on, because you need to understand that being able to make astronomical amounts of money within like 6 months, right? You have to be lucky, catch a coin at the right time, do something at the right level. Do you understand what I mean? Like, they're not easy. But what this will give you is, if you're in the right places and doing the right things, it will give you the opportunity to get growth above any other industry. I want everyone to really understand this fact and broaden your time horizon. Just because we got what is a 6% pullback. I mean, just you guys haven't experienced a pullback yet. If this is gonna shake you out, seriously, like seriously, this might not be the industry for you. I'm being serious. I feel it will go down when you told us they will grab 18K liquidity and then go down. Res, yeah, fantastic, Ricky. Good that you heard, right? This is your thing, Lamar. 50 years exactly. If you're 50, oh my god, I hate that you're so young. I would love to know what I had knew now if I was at that age. What do you think the total market cap tops at the cycle? It's very hard to know. That's impossible to know, man. I'm doing this for 2 years and I'm not profit. I've learned so much and I ain't giving up. Yeah, look, there is a as my good sort of anyway whatever. All right, it would always say that if you give something enough effort in the right place at the right time, there will be a wealth effect at some point. And that's the thing you guys need to understand. The wealth effect is when you put the right time and you learn. There is a point where your learning starts to get incremental, and those incremental bits is where you're honing in. That's it. That's the only thing you need to understand. What could Bitcoin's price be in 20 years? That's really hard to know, but it's going to be if things go the way it goes, right? This is the one thing I want to explain. I want everyone to really understand this thing right now, right? And I want everyone to really get this. Donald Trump is barely in his first year. Barely. And he has done more for cryptocurrency than you can ever imagine. I was talking to someone. I'm not going to say who it is anymore because people get all angry with me and say, "Oh," but really, I really do know these people, right? Someone that has a lot more money than me, right? And he was saying to me, he was like, I don't get how everyone is not plowing into this industry. And I was asking, what do you mean by that? He goes, three of the most spectacular legislations came into power. And the thing that people don't get in cryptocurrency, and what he sees, is that people think that cause and effect is instantaneous. They think that when you push the ball, the more ball moves straight away. But that's not how it works in economies and institutions and factors the size of the USA and multi-billion-dollar industries. The guy that I'm talking to, right? He works very high up in a, I'm gonna say, country size company that holds trillions of dollars. I mean, I'm not explaining. And he says, like, for companies of that size to move, it takes months, years to get into the understanding of what's going on, right? And I want you to everyone to really understand this aspect. They've passed through of the legislations that is the backbone of our industry, and people are just not bullish enough. That it's just not settling the way that it should do, because it's been a couple of years and everyone's like, where's my 3000X? Why my Lambo's not here yet? All right? I want everyone to understand that. Right? I just want everyone to really get that point before we get into the next bit. But look, exchange volume is somewhat coming down. I would expect that after what happened yesterday. But this bodes well for the next move to happen. We want non-retail to be playing around. That's the best thing to describe. You saw what happened when non-retail was, when retail was here. Remember when there was no retail interest, the market was gearing up for a perfect move up. Understand, when retail comes in, market makers start farming the market. Oh, one more thing I want to show you guys. When I said that the Fed ain't cutting, they ain't cutting. And they're not cutting. They're not cutting. It's not happening. 87.8% chance of not cutting in September, which is weirdly a good thing, right? So let's just keep that in mind, and we understand. If you watch my video, you'll see what they are talking about. Right, where are we right now? Okay, let's get to some interesting other pieces of news. Is that's there. Where are we right now? Okay, cool. Now, if we look at the SPX, we've had a sell-off, that's for sure. I was expecting something on this level. I mean, I was expecting more, to be honest. Even this move is not something that I would expect from a move of where to go down at 3%. I think we might get some more, But anyway, because of such a V-shaped recovery, we would need some sort of pullback. The Fed is not cutting. No chance. I don't see it cutting unless there's something. Unless see, the thing is, as I've been saying, the tariffs are showing their ugly head slowly now, and you'll see that Donald Trump just doesn't stop. He's just now raised the tariffs on India. He doesn't stop. In which way can the Fed adjust its interest rates when inflation is going to look? I'll tell you one thing, and I want everyone to I really want everyone to understand this, right? You know how what was his name says, listen, or whatever it is. Listen, what was it called? Pay attention, right? My saying is, I need everyone to understand. If we cut and inflation goes crazy, and then the Fed raises interest rates, I promise you, this is heed my warning, right? Heed my warning on what you want. I promise you, if that happened, you would see one of the biggest crashes in the markets that you will ever see in your life. I want everyone to really understand that. I want everyone to really understand that. It will be You think a 3% move back? you, no, that's a no cut. 90% chance of no cut. The other side is where the cut is. Anyway, we'll see. Um, yeah, you will see if you think if if you think that there is if you think 3% is a move, I promise you this, right? I promise you this. It whiplash will feel good. How fast the markets will fall. You don't want that. You want what you want, right? This is the scenario of what you want. You want a market where all of the tariff stuff is over, deals have been done, right? All of that stuff is done. Inflation is underneath. Inflation is under control. Inflation is under control. Everything is under control. And then when they start cutting, they can cut and cut and cut and cut. That's it. That's the situation of what you guys need to understand. Now, that's where we are. So we could see further pullback in the S&P 500. It's possible down to here, but we will see. It's not looking super hot at this present moment, but that recovery is quite good on the daily. There could be some further continuation up, especially as it might actually close up this gap at the 6337. See what happens when that happens, when it gets to there. We could potentially see maybe some downside, but the S&P looks like it's going to be more resilient than not. Now, I would also want to show you one thing. I remember I showed you this many times over. I said I'm looking that I would say, I said from the beginning, from October, potentially September, but from October onwards, I think we're going to be seeing some serious moves in the market. And if we look at historical data, other markets over a few $1 trillion companies at the top. I know it's definitely. I'm gonna get to that. The difference between value and actual stock valuation, actual wealth and stock valuation of companies are at 19-year highs. The S&P 500 is massively overvalued. But let's just wait. I mean, the markets can stay irrational much longer than you could possibly think. Now, I've showed this to you before, right? And I said that possibly from September onwards and say October, I would say October onwards, things are going to get really, really, really spicy. And you know what's really interesting? If we look at some historical data as well, let me show you some historical data. You guys got to like this. Where's my historical data? Bruv, where's my historical data? There's my historical data. If we look at some historical data here, right, you see that August usually ain't great, apart from 2017. But 2017, yeah, anyway, whatever. Apart from 2000, I mean, that's more of an outlier, I might say. September is also a bit meh, but October onwards, things start getting very, very, very juicy, right? Things start getting pretty good, right? You're looking at 27, 30, 40%, 50% moves in the markets. And this is Bitcoin, right? I want everyone to really understand that. We're seeing some stupid returns that are coming. And it looks like something that is a possibility in the market, especially if the next data set starts coming in and we're starting to see, if we could see some level of flattening out of inflation, which could be the singular inflationary move of what tariffs could give, in line with worsening economic data, then I could see a rate cut happening. But we'll see. I am worried that Donald Trump right now and his tariffs are not pointing towards making deals. He needs to get that over and done with ASAP. Like ASAP, it needs to be done on that level. No, I don't want that. I don't want that. Right. So yeah. So that's a situation where we can go and what will happen from there. Every post-halving August has been green. Yep, that's also true, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with the halving and what's happening on that side. But we'll we'll see. If we look at halving years, it's true. August has been relatively good and been good from there. But I'm still saying end of August to September is where I will holding our heads to move up in that direction. Are we not late in the current cycle for best things being ahead of us? No, I don't think so. No, don't forget we have someone in the midst of of this economy right now that is causing a lot of mayhem in the market. Right, and markets are reacting accordingly to what he is doing and what's happening in the markets right now. Now, few things I want to show you guys, and this is also important to see as well. If we look at the RSI on Bitcoin, it has officially hit oversold. Now, this could stay here for a while. It could definitely stay here for a while. But I would say, think of it this way. If we can get above 116, I would say, let's say 116, I would say there's going to be a lot more further continuation on this. And if we look at key factors as well, what could happen? We need to see what happens when this crosses over the oscillator in RSI as well. So there's a lot of things to look at, a lot of things to understand what's happening. But I would say be careful of what the price action of what August is going to give this week. In my humble opinion, is going to be sideways price action. There isn't any major news this week, coming off some serious messed up news from last week. So be careful on that side. Now, if we look at gold, we need to understand that gold is starting to make its move back up. We had a bit of a pullback. The thing is, when markets pull back, everything pulls back, right? Right. Everything has a bit of a wobble. Everything has a bit of a wobble when markets have that type of pullback in the market. Right. Now, if we look at DXY, I mean, look, I don't move any of these levels. I want everyone to really understand. I don't move any of these levels. You can go back to my previous recordings. You can go back and see everything that's happening in that side. Let's see. Let's see what happens in the dollar. But I think this is a further continuation down. My only worry that we have right now is that I don't want this to be a higher low and this to set a higher high. We need this to come down and break this lower level. Otherwise, this could be further continuation up. But that rejection point is absolutely on point. I said that many, many times that it could potentially come and test the $100 mark. And we get there and it pulled back from there. Now, if we look at USDT dominance, the fair value gap that we drew last time when we were on the live, it came and tapped that level there absolutely perfectly. Now, my only worry right now is it's somewhat looks like it's flipped the 4.39%, right? That I don't like. That part I don't particularly like, because it's changing resistance into support, and I don't like that happening with USDT dominance. That's my only worry. We don't want that to happen. We don't want this to continue up. And to be honest, we really don't want it to break the 4.67. Yeah, 4.67, 4.8. Watch this closely. Watch this very, very closely, because this could very well continue upwards. Very well. And that could give some form of confidence towards the fact of a potential chop in the market. See, I will warn everyone, if Bitcoin starts to chop around these levels, right, alts may suffer a little bit, because what happens is that when this goes red, people get scared and sell out of their holdings, right? But I will say this, and I'll say this very, very carefully. I personally will be buying a lot of dips, a lot. There are certain coins and projects that I will be buying the hell out of the dip, and I'm gonna come to one that is looking, yeah, I'll come to one of that and that level. Now, where are we right now? Yeah, so that's that situation. Now, if we look at Bitcoin dominance, remember when I said, and this is the thing. This is the thing that really gets to me, right? I want everyone to really understand this. I literally said, yeah, Eth can get to that level because I'm going to explain why. Right? I literally said that USDT dominance could come and do a fake out. It's like you have a script. I don't have a script. It's all off the top of my head. I literally said that Bitcoin dominance could come to the 50% level. You'll never catch me. I'm telling you. I'm too hidden. I'm James Bond villain in this house. You know, unless my wife's around, and then I'm definitely not the villain. Then I'm just afraid and like, please, can I eat some food? Right. So I said, look, the 50% level is going to be important. It will most probably come and tap that, and it will be a form of a bearish trap, and that is exactly what's going on. I said it. I mean, I showed it to you. This is it. That's what happened. It's pulling back now. This where this settles is important. We need this. You should be a good bro. They're only arresting bears in this season. God, you know what really annoys me, right? This is the thing that really annoys me about bears, right? They want the market to go down so they can gloat to you. That's what I don't like about perma bears. Look, there are a lot of things to be bearish about in this market. There are a lot of things to be bullish about this market, right? But every time something goes in one direction, cool band, by the way, them shouting, saying, oh, I did this and I did that and this happened here and all that kind of stuff, it doesn't help anyone. And all it does is that it causes people to fearmonger and do actions not through their own TA and understanding analysis. That's what really annoys me. This is my first real cycle, and I've been beating the crap out of every bear so far. Yeah, it's just you guys. Everyone needs to harden themselves. Look, I want everyone to understand this. However, thanks for always for the quality content. Could you show your trading? It's here. You can check those out, man. Bears then should be quietly selling everything and shorting everything. Yeah, they do, but they don't. Chat, I told you. Chat. You're so cooked, chat. Okay, fantastic. Yeah. Do you use VWAP indicator? I use VWAP in a what's it called? In a multi indicator. I'll show you that next. Right. Now, what we don't want with this, right? What we don't want with this is this, right? We don't want this to set a level above this point here. So Bitcoin dominance could very well come down to this area here, to around the 61 level. If it comes here and bounces from this point, or in fact above it, that's when you should start to get a bit worried, because that is setting the third level that is a higher low, and that creating a upward trend, right? We don't want that. We don't want that. That moving in that direction is not great. That's the issue that I would say with that aspect. Watch it carefully. Bumped into the best crypto go jam recently. He was doing a glory lap live, fun to watch. Yeah, that's the thing. Look, Look, Jam has his place, even though he's one of those. He can be toxic sometimes, especially against other creators because whatever, right? Um, but but don't forget. This is one thing I want everyone to don't forget about what he says. If he sold at that time, right, in December, great, he sold everything. Why is he still making content right now? Since December, he's been talking like that. A person in between then and now, a proper trader in then and now, would have made 10 times the amount of money that he was talking about right in that situation. And just saying, oh, we're cooked, guys, we're cooked for 7 months. 7 months he's been saying that. Great, fantastic, good on him. A lot of things have moved. A lot of things have happened. Bitcoin has hit a new all-time high. Let's not forget that, right? That's why I want to understand that. And this is the thing. This is the thing that I will say to everyone to understand, right? I want everyone to understand this. If you are a bear, then follow bear content. If you are a bull, follow bull content. But I will say this to everyone, right? I will say this to everyone. If you do not have a balanced point of view, you will miss out on a lot. A lot. Let's not forget what's moved this market right now. Let's not forget. This is the thing that I want everyone to really, really understand. He's short. Yeah, I know. He's short in the market when the market went up as well, though. Don't forget that. So this is the thing that I want to say to everyone. I want everyone to really understand this fact, right? There are many people. I've met many bears in my life. They can be right. They can be right. Bulls can be right. Bulls can be wrong. Bears can be wrong. It's what I would suggest, what I would say and suggest, right? And this is the thing that I would say to everyone that's in this market that really wants to learn, right? Really wants to understand what's happening. Is that, in my humble opinion, this is my humble opinion. I don't want everyone to know what goes on, right? And I want everyone to understand this. I am a bear. I'm not a bear. I'm a bull, right? I've always been a bull. Always. Why? Because of inflation. I'm a bull because of inflation. That's why I'm a bull, right? Think of it this way. And I want everyone to understand this. This is why I think this way. And a much wealthier person told me this, right? A much, much wealthier person told me this. Say you bought here, right at the top, 66. Say you bought there. Will coins front run the September rate cut IMO? That yes, definitely. The rate cut is not the interesting part. Hello, Soccer. By the way, everyone should check out Soccer. He's got some really good, cool content. What I will say this, right, and I want everyone to really understand this. Imagine you bought here, right? You bought at the top, right at the top, right here, 63,000, and bears were like screaming at you. You're like, oh my god, I'm selling everything. Explain this to me. Imagine you bought here, bears sold everything. Who's up now? Who's up? Who's up at the moment? Someone explain this to me. This is the thing that I will say to me, right? This is what I want to explain to everyone. Unless you time the bottom perfectly, and if anyone says, any trader, and I want everyone to explain this, this is the thing I want to say. Any trader that says they timed the bottom perfectly is a trader you shouldn't be following. I will say this to everyone in every sense of the level, right? Because what happens with bears is right is that they believe that look, there are things that you should be bear. Long term, I would say if things don't get sorted out with debt and everything else on that level, I'm a mega bear on that side. They need to sort that crap out ASAP, right? Because there is a financial black swan looming in the distance, right? Right? It's looming in the distance that could destroy everything. It's there. You can see it. It's the nice little black ship with the black sails sitting there with a bunch of swans on them, right? And that's called the US debt, right? It's a problem, right? They really need to sort that out. Uh, uh, I timed it almost perfectly, but it was luck. Just yeah, okay, fine, right? It's there, sitting there. It's a debt. We can see it. That's a problem, right? It's a problem, but that's all the way over there. So by the time we get there, we can make some profit. And this is the thing. I think in bullish terms because of inflationary factors, right? If you are in an asset that is a hedge against inflation, if uh, both up but bears bought lower, if they bought lower, if they bought lower, I want everyone to really understand this fact, right? This is the problem with bears sometimes, right? Bears think of the downturn always. Always. I think in the upturn always. And I'll say this to you, right? If you're in an asset that is a hedge against inflation, up is always better than down. Because inflation will eat away the value of a normal currency. And if you're in an asset that is protects against that currency, even if it pulls back, you're up. Why do you think people invest in the S&P 500 over 40, 50 years? Is it because they're bears? It's the only thing I will say to you guys. I'm a bull. I think in bullish terms always. I think of what is the next thing that can actually bring the next stage forward. And there are moments to be bearish. For sure, there are moments to be bearish. Oh man, there are definitely moments to be bearish. But you shouldn't be happy about bear moments. That's what I would say. Never be happy on the as a bears are not happy people. Show me a bear that's happy. They're not very happy. They're not happy people, right? Yeah, this is the thing. I want everyone to show me a chat where the main creator is a bear. That's a happy place. Not toxic AF, all right? I hate bear chats. It does my head in. You can't hear through the noise of someone going, "Oh, I told you so." Oh my god, you guys are losing money. Oh, I'm so happy. Great. Never be fully bearish. Yeah, it's true. Have you seen Coinbase UK? People are laughing at it so hard. Yes, it is. It's just UK is the most unfriendly crypto. But talking about this, right? Did I miss something? Why do I need to put? Why do I need to put my? Yeah, so see, you guys are looking in the wrong place. What? Why do you have to put like your ID now to go into YouTube and stuff? Am I missing something? Did something just pass? Bears after you. Toxic not for me. Yeah, look. I will be the first. Look, I'll tell you. See, look, this is the way I want to explain to you. I'm bullish. Mate, to whom do you owe money? People owe me money. The police work for me. They work for me. No, I'm messing around. Look, I'm a bull, right? They do it to ban the prawns. Yeah, the prawn industry is. I understand that, right? I get that, but it's annoying, man. Now I have to like, why do I have to put my driving license to watch YouTube? Honestly, someone. Anyway, look, and this is the thing. Look, I'm a bull, right? But I can say, look, right now, it looks slightly bearish. I can say that. I can say that there could be a movement down. That's all I would like to say. I'm a person, right, that I would like to I want to understand my way of thinking. Saying to someone this is the top, and then keeping that frame of mind for 6 months doesn't give me any value. The YouTube thing is an age restriction, man, not YouTube. No, I had to put, but it's asking me it's prawns, boss. That was a YouTube thing. Anyway, look, so it looks quite bearish right now, right? This thing could potentially come down. I can't even watch YouTube videos because of my age. Yeah, I know, right? That's my way of thinking. Anyway, whatever. I will just say it how it is. That's the best way to be. I would say how it is, but I'm bullish medium to long term, hardcore on thing. Jam the Bear came out of the woods as soon as the market got. Yeah, that's how it look. He has his content, and his content does well when people are fearful. He 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 gains from fear. You see, when everyone's fearful, I try to make people happy. Don't forget that. And if you don't, and if they don't believe you, must upload a picture ID. Oh my god, that's insane! Unbelievable what's going on, man. Anyway, whatever. Switch to digital dollar moving. Yeah, could be. It's definitely coming. What do you think the stablecoin is act is about? Most definitely. Right. Now, as I said, it ain't looking too Gucci, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens and where Bitcoin settles. Let the Monday range develop, and then we can analyze where to go from there. Love you long time, bro. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. That means a lot. All right, where are we right now? I guess gonna look at Gucci soon. Do you think about up to anyway? I'll get to that. Let me go through some certain things. Right now, Bitcoin dominance did what it did, and it pulled back from there. Right, this is super important. If we look at ETH divided by Bitcoin in relation to the dollar, we need this level to be taken out. And what I'm worried about. It would be so fun to see you discuss crypto with a full blown. There's no point. They just get so toxic, man. It's so toxic. Online safety. Yeah. Oh, that's the Online Safety Act. Oh my god. Oh man, I can't believe that passed. Is that what that is? That's annoying. I can't believe that passed. I didn't think that would pass. Anyway, whatever. Now right now, what I'm worried about is that I don't want this to reject off this level here. If it does, and that could cause more downward pressure in the market. We will see what happens. Jeez, that's so annoying that passed. It's bad. I'm no longer going blind. Right. Now total 3 divide by Bitcoin. Now look. Any which way you look at this, it's producing lower lows and lower highs, right? And this could bode not too well for altcoins for the time being. We need this trend to break exclusively very soon. We need this to break very, very soon. And I said here, we don't want this. I mean, it's amazing how it hit that exact point, right? We don't want this to reject off this and start breaking down. We really, really don't want to lose this 8.32 million. In fact, let's just move it down a little bit more. No, I would say this still. Let's make this into a box. Oh, God, I need to. Yeah, I need to do this live a bit short today, but give me. Got a few things that I have to get on with. Let's do that. All right. This box is super important. We could see a rejection come and retest this. If it tests, holds, right, that is a confirmation of double bottom, and then we could see a massive move up. That's why I'm thinking towards the end of August could be pretty good. Let's see what happens. Let's see what goes on from this situation from here. Right. If you look at others against Bitcoin, this is a further continuation down. It's still holding that downward trend line, lower lows, lower highs, but this is where things get a bit interesting. Others is what basically all of you guys are in, right? All of you guys are in like the downright dirty degen, you know. That's what we're all looking at, right? We want to see some 40 bands being made, right? You know, put one band in and get 40 bands back. That's the type of gains that we're looking for, bruv. Right? That's why the popo's after me. Too good at winning. Whatever. This looks like maybe a formation. I don't want to say it. One second, let me get through this. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to jinx it, right? But what I will say is this. Why is that? What's happening here? Why is that? Oh, whatever. I mean, could it be? Could it be that we're all right? I'm gonna say this. This is. I mean, it's hard to say it's a trend. I mean, technically it's a trend because it's tapped it more than twice. Three touches is what I would call describe as a trend. If this line holds, we could say, is this the formation of a higher low? A 1000x leverage. Is that the formation of a higher low in the downright dirty coins? We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, yeah. Do you see what I mean? Are we seeing? I'm seeing the start of a change of trend of others against Bitcoin. Bro, talk prices. You're giving no information. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you. I'm sure others also agree that I'm giving no information. Everyone, according to Forgotten, that information is not. I'm giving zero, none whatsoever. Nothing has been given in this live. Nothing's been given. Absolutely nothing. Nothing's been given. All right, cool. All right, so continuing with nothing. All right, I wanna. Yeah, I think you need to understand that you need to see what I'm talking about is here, just there, just it's here. Yeah, let's go there and you see. You want percentages? Okay. I don't know what percentages that you want from me. Some people, honestly. What percentages you want, brother? You said percentages. You're not saying percentages. You're not saying percentages. What percentage do you want me to say? What are we talking about? Can someone explain to me what is there what percentages? You just told us that if it holds, if what holds? Percentages, if what holds? What? Precise information. I don't know. What? What's happening? Say XRP 10K. XRP to 10K. What changed from last week? Only tariffs. No. What changed from last week is just bearish news. There was potential of wars. There's potential of inflation. There's potential of recession. There's potential of a whole bunch of stuff. Donald Trump fired a whole bunch. You know, it just look. It was a cluster mess, right? Full blown cluster mess that happened. So that's the situation, right? That's what happened, right? So that's where we are. I would say watch this extremely carefully. Watch Watch others against Bitcoin very, very carefully. Because we're God, if it could just flip this, like I'm gonna show this to you. Okay, check this out. Right. If it could flip that, I just want that to hold. Because then that looks like maybe a full blown what was that? A full blown potential deviation bottom with percentages. With percentages. Did that help? Did the percentages bit help? Uh, what's our is so alt season cancelled? No, I wouldn't say so. It depends on your time frame, man. What's your time frame? Next week? Possibly not. Possibly. If you think next week or this week, let's see. If we get a weekly close on this week is super important. If we get a weekly close above this level, the 2.39, expect continuation up. And this is the thing I want everyone to understand this, right? And I want, look, please get this in your mind. When there is scope of a rate cut coming in, markets front run these things, right? They front run what's happening. If markets start to front run what's happening, then you'll start seeing growth. And I will show you this, right? I'll show you a few more things. This is a few more things I'm going to show you. Where did this go? God, where did this go? I'm so unorganized. I'm so sorry. I got a bunch of stuff that's going on in the background that I'm trying to deal with. Aha. All right, let's get to this. Do you know my main man Tom Lee? I love this guy. He's hilarious. He's expecting the S&P 500 to hit all-time highs this month. And if he's correct, right, then I would say, oh, stupid. You know, if it hits 5,000, what does it say, 6,000, right? Yeah, between 6.5 to 6,000. If there's a further continuation up and breaking all-time highs, and if this guy is correct, then everything's gonna go crazy. And if there is the push towards a rate cut happening towards September, then oh my lord, I would start buying everything you could possibly buy. But in my humble opinion, I think this is going to go sideways for a bit, especially this week. There's no news this week, so it's just going to be chop city. Right, let's look at some other things. Let's look at. Oh God, sorry, man. I running a bit of time. All right, let me go quickly and I get going. I've already overshot already. Total 3 is looking good right now, right? If we look at total 3 on the daily, what's happened here? Yeah. It's looking good at this present moment. It needs to hold above the Monday high, right? The Monday range high. It's really important here. So this 985 needs to hold. We don't want this below the 21-day EMA and below this. It tried to break out. That looked amazing. I thought things was going to go well, but this could potentially go down and retest the lower lows and possibly retest the 50%. But it tapping the 50%, again, I drew this, everyone here, you can see it tapped the 50% mark perfectly. That tap there is where there's usually a reversal. If this continues on and moves in the direction and reclaims a 985, then we're Gucci and we're going to be continuing on. And this is the setting of the next higher low. We wanted this to happen, right? We wanted this pullback to happen. That set of the new higher low is the way that we move through. Confident 33, I might do something like that. It doesn't always work, but it is a way to you can play certain things off and gain some good profit from those. I'll show you my certain technique or what I do. So let's see your screen. It's here. It's right there. These things here, right? in the manner I'm talking, give you the indication that things could be shared here, right? That's that situation. Now, let's get to the last bit and why I am thinking people are pointing towards Ethereum pushing to 10 to 15,000 by the end of the year, potentially earlier than that, right? I'm going to play you a few things. First things first, right? I want everyone to understand this. And I want everyone to really get to the point of really listening to when family members of Donald Trump say stuff, right? Because they haven't been wrong yet. Been wrong yet. And when this Monofof, the mono the mother carrying son of a female canine says something like buy the dip on Bitcoin and ETH, and his father is leading the country, and they own a fund which has mainly Bitcoin and ETH, maybe listen to them, right? I would say maybe listen to them. Even if this pullback, that means loading up. That's what I will be doing. And I want to show you, and I will leave on one thing, right? I want to leave on this dude. who may have had a difficult weekend, right? I want to leave on this dude. And I want everyone to listen to this very, very carefully. He said it before we went down 30%. No, don't say that. No. Remember, I said buy ETH and thank me later. Everyone was very, very happy at the end of that, right? Last time he said it in 2000. I'm still going to listen to him. I don't care. Where are we right now?
So
listen to this guy.
I think in the near term, our technical strategist Mark Newton thought we could be seeing 4,000 before the end of the month for Ethereum, but that's not where it peaks.
What's your price target for ETH as we head into the second half of the year?
Our price objectives at Fundstrat. So I wear a couple of hats. I'm the chairman of BitMine, but I'm also the head of research at Fundstrat. And actually I have a third role, which is the CIO of Fundstrat Capital. But at Fundstrat, Sean Farrell is the head of digital assets research. And he's given me some informal sort of targets. One way he thinks of this is that if we look at Circle and its free cash multiple, which now is like 130 times EBITDA, on an equivalent basis, Ethereum is closer to 15,000. And that makes sense. I think the layer one, as you get into layer one, you should apply a higher multiple to like sort of theoretical usage because it's the same reason software companies get higher multiples than retailers, right? The more you're getting away from the customer and the more it's pure signal, you apply higher multiples to that business. And so I think in the near term, our technical strategist Mark Newton thought we could be seeing 4,000 before the end of the month for Ethereum, but that's not where it peaks. He just thinks that that's the first target. And then I think something, if Sean Farrell's math is correct, then I think 10 to 15,000 actually makes sense too.
By the end of the year?
It could be end of year, it could be sooner. I mean, it just really depends. But that wouldn't be the cap.
So I could see that happening. The reason why I say that I could see that happening, right? And I want to and just make my thoughts clear, and then I have to go because I'm already overshooting, right? Family stuff I need to sort out. Look, we have the stablecoin bill coming. That's coming to fruition. Those stablecoins are going to be set on Ethereum. We have some of the largest inflows of buys in the ETH ETF in history, larger than second to none to Bitcoin. And on top of that, we're coming into a market where the dollar is going to get weaker. Inflation is going to have an issue. Bitcoin is going to get to a point where its upside potential is going to get less and less as the time goes forward. And Ethereum is set in a perfect storm to go crazy. I would say the ultimate altcoin is Ethereum right now. And even if we see a dip, which we definitely could, because we're seeing some iffy movements in price action right now. I would say it's a buy the dip type of thing. And to be honest, I would love that if it dipped a bit more. I would love if it dipped a bit more, because I loaded up hard around. I mean, it wasn't exactly there. I was actually at this 55-day EMA. I was buying around there. I haven't been able to get everyone else involved in it because I was dealing with a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, that's what I would say. And understand this, right? Oh, sorry. Understand this, right? I thought that was Ethereum for a second. Understand this. If Ethereum gets to those crazy $10,000 to $15,000 marks, right? That's wild, by the way. If Ethereum gets to $10,000 to $15,000 marks around here, if it gets to these levels, let's say if it gets to 10, 15,000 would be wild, but let's say if it gets to 10, know that alts will follow that. You know, I'll leave on this note. How every other coin is related to Bitcoin comes in perfect comparison to how Ethereum is related to others, all other type of coins, all altcoins. This is what I would say. Now, whether that's going to be a small dip and then pump up, or whether it's a slow grind up, I wouldn't bet against Ethereum. That's what I would say, especially with what's coming forward. All right, now few last things, little bits of a few things to play around with. One thing is really, really important, and I need everyone to really, like, I don't understand why not a lot more people are not bouncing on this thing, right? The pre-sale to Bella Baba. If you guys want to know what Bella Baba is, I've explained it 1,000 times before. If you go into the Learn by Alvarez, you go into the bit where it says Bella Baba, the actual CEO of the company is here if you want to talk to them, right? And if everyone is talking like, I'm tired of this coin, I've got that coin, and this, that, and the other, this is a neobank that's going to be giving non-KYC cards to crypto users. And if you stake the thing, you get 10% of the fees from the thing. It's a no-brainer in my sense, right? Alvarez, I feel crazy after 8 months of crypto. Yeah, that's what that'll make you feel like, right? But you get hardened. Why do you think look, understand this, right? If you guys lose, I don't know, 20% on your 100K investments, how do you think I feel, right? When I lose 20%, right? Always keep that in your mind, right? Always keep that in your mind. I've lost 20K on my full investments. And then you go, I wonder how much Alvarez has lost 20%. What's 20% for Alvarez? And then you'll understand, right? And that should make you feel better. But understand this, right? Know that they're about to launch their GAN token. I'm just going to say, last time, I want everyone to really get this, right? Last time I'm talking about this. This is going to be pushed by Crypto Banter. Crypto Banter is all over this. I just want everyone to understand that. You guys are the only ones, apart from Crypto Banter and their community, that are getting into this before everyone else. Make of that as you will. And then message me afterwards saying, is it too late to get in? But if you want to, again, I'll say it again. I say it again. Go to Learn by Alvarez, links in bio. Come here. There's a form that you need to fill out. Once you fill out the form, they will set everything out, do everything. As I said, the form is here. You fill this out. As the actual CEO of the company is answering everyone's questions, what everyone is thinking, what everyone's happening. If you have any questions, it's there. You can go and chat on all that kind of aspect. That's the situation. That's where we're going on. That's what's happening on that side. I want everyone to be understanding that we could see some more downside, or in my opinion, or in my humble opinion, more sideways action for the time being. But I would say by the end of the month, we should start the run up to the the insanity of what's going to be happening towards it until the end of the year. That's what I would say. All right, guys, look, if they love you and leave you, got family stuff to sort out. That's why I've been quiet for a while. Still trying to pop out some videos, but I appreciate if you guys got some level of information and something that's positive from here, even if it's a laugh, if it's a smile, or anything on that level. Make sure you press the like and everything else on that side. It really helps with the algorithm. I don't want anything from you guys. I actually ask nothing of you guys, apart from all the other creators that shout, scream, love, and all this kind of stuff, and they try and push you to somewhere else to do something like that. All right. Again, if I'm not replying or doing stuff, I got stuff that I'm dealing with, and I will catch you guys there. Please don't take it to offense. All right. Catch you guys. Love, peace, affection, all that kind of stuff. Come into the Learn My Alvarez. Ask people there. There's some real cool people there that will help out. And if you need anything, look, sometimes, and I want everyone to understand this, right? Sometimes you need a community or a space where you can just go and vent and have fun, right? And that's the place you need to be. And that's what Learn My Alvarez gives everyone. Go there, chat. Everyone's there. Everyone's available to chat. If you want something even more fun, you can go and check out the Fat Cat Telegram. That's usually a lot more fun there as well. Although you get the odd interesting people there. Make sure you check that out. There's a lot of cool things coming to that as well. Know that everything is in place. All the plans are in place for that thing to go crazy. We're just waiting for the market to settle into the right place. All right. Okay, guys. Love.